There we go.
Yep, I see yellow.
I have a name for the Anglican church um, in Hinton. Let me just pull that up. I did some digging around. Wendy and I actually went to that, uh, or I remember going there on an anniversary and representing Mom or something. So,
Yeah. Well, I couldn't.
Saint Francis of Assisi Anglican is the name of,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I have no idea where what we did in Edmonton. I don't have any memory
I have memories of the Edmonton church,
yeah.
and I know we had to drive across. We'd go, assuming it was south, and then drive across the little creek,
Okay.
and it was somewhere a few blocks the other side of that little creek.
Are we talking Hinton still or Edmonton?
No, that's Edmonton.
A little creek. There's the North
What?
Saskatchewan River. I wouldn't
Well,
call it a
no.
creek.
This wasn't too far from our house,
Oh, okay.
and it was might sort of be more of a drainage ditch or something, but there was a culvert that was more than big enough for us to walk through with plenty of headroom. And there's a little bit of water, so I called it a creek. But
Okay.
and then south of that was the railroad track, just a
Oh,
single line.
okay.
And beyond the railroad track was nothing but oil industry.
Oh my.
And so I went looking for our house in Edmonton,
Yeah.
found it,
Yeah.
found the railroad track, and found that our neighborhood is far closer to downtown Edmonton than it is to the open prairie. So everything that my memories of empty fields with the pump jacks going up and down,
Yeah.
that's long gone now.
Oh, interesting. Oh,
But I do remember specifically in Hinton about the bottle drives and
yeah.
how excited Mom and Dad were to be, because there wasn't yet a church, but they were fundraising to get one built and so forth.
Oh,
And obviously somebody must have been coming to do services periodically. And so
okay.
people were pulling together to get some money together to build the place. And then in Edmonton, uh, I remember the fact that it was certainly new for the era. So it
Okay.
wasn't like we were going to some musty old Christchurch cathedral. We
Okay.
were going to a place that was then new and modern.
Oh,
And I think that's where I first learned that confirmation was something we would be doing in a few years.
okay.
And um, certainly we went regularly enough that I remembered the place.
Okay.
And the other thing that disturbs me
Uh-oh.
is I know exactly how I went from where we lived to school.
Okay.
Only where the school was, there is now a velodrome.
Okay.
And so I thought,
Did we go north? Like I remember going to or walking to kindergarten and going left or north up our street,
Yes.
and
And it
uh,
sort of went to the right a little bit,
okay,
and that took us to the school. And sure enough, if you go up and to the right, which is north, and then a little to the east,
yeah,
you end up in a large open area, only now there's a velodrome there instead of a school.
okay. I had looked before trying to find the school, and like you said, like there was nothing that looked like
No,
any school. So interesting.
yeah,
Carl,
so
I think that, like, I remember going, are we talking about Edmonton now?
Yes,
yes,
Because
yeah.
I
yeah.
went to kindergarten in Edmonton. What were you in junior kindergarten? I didn't go to first grade until I went to CHIP.
That's where um, it must have been junior kindergarten at that time. I remember walking alone and coming back home. Like I'd get maybe 20 steps and then run back, want another hug from mom, and I'd go a little bit further and come back. I remember that about Edmonton and kindergarten. I only was in started grade one in Fort Chip myself, so
Yeah,
I'm wondering how that all worked out.
yeah, I started grade one in Edmonton, and mom and dad were convinced that a significant part of my difficulties in um, adjusting to school was the fact that there had been no kindergarten available when we were
Okay.
living in Hinton.
Oh, okay.
Well, I did not go to public, like, kindergarten was not a provided option, as my understanding in Edmonton. Like, I went to a private kindergarten. I didn't go to a public
Oh,
kindergarten.
okay.
So
I was too young to know. I just
maybe you were in like preschool or something, Carl.
okay.
That would make more sense because you were like 3 or something. Like, you were born in
54
54, and we were there
October.
at 58-ish, right? Because we didn't move to CHIP till 59.
Yeah.
So you were just have been 4. And yeah, I remember it was like a private kindergarten, and nobody would hold my hand because I had eczema.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I I've
Well,
had that exam. Okay.
here's the name of it. It was the Mill Creek Ravine.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that was the name of the little creek. Somehow I have a feeling there wasn't normally a lot of water in it. And we lived in the Argyle neighborhood,
Okay.
which of course sounds very familiar here in London because the Argyle Mall out the East End past the Ian Charlie's.
Okay. I,
And
I
so
think
I remember we used to take one bus from where we lived to a shopping mall. And I'm thinking the shopping mall was probably the Bonnie Doon Mall, or at least what's turned into that today.
okay.
And then from there, we caught the trolley coach, which probably went up uh, Connors Road and across the low level bridge. And that took us across the Saskatchewan. The road turned left. We went across the river flats and then did 180 and then climbed up the long hill to downtown and ended up entering downtown with Hotel McDonald on our right.
Okay.
And I remember at that time that the entire downtown uh, was small enough that even my 7-year-old mind had a good handle on it before we moved to Chip, and could pretty well find my way around everywhere. And the furthest I think we ever went was where the train station was.
Okay.
And so anyhow, it's all changed now, and but it was interesting. Just and they've still got the high level bridge, and it's still named the high level bridge.
That's creative.
Yeah. I
Jim, you're a wealth of information, Jim. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Like I have nothing to offer on Edmonton. We had a basement in that house, and did
Yes.
Dad have his office down there? And
Yes, he
I
did.
remember going down, but I can't tell you much about that basement. But I remember, did we play down there?
Well, I remember having a little nook underneath the stairs down from the main level.
Okay.
I remember Dad having an office down there,
Mhm.
and reading Mom's 1957 and 58 Christmas letters, where she was talking about how hard, in 57, she was talking about how hard Dad was studying to get his chartered accountant qualification. And then
Yeah.
in 58, he'd written the test, and they were on tenterhooks as Mom was putting together the letter and mailing it out, because they weren't going to find out until just before Christmas. But of course, we know how that turned out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it was kind of fun. Because of your email and suggested topic, I thought, well, I'm going to sniff around and see if I can find any of this. Uh,
That's fantastic.
yeah. And I've licensed Amazon fulfillment centers and Amazon AWS facilities in Edmonton
Okay.
and environs in just the last few years. So my relationship with Edmonton sort of continues.
Yes. Sylvia, do you have any other memories of Edmonton?
Well, mine are
Traumatic?
remembering my birthday party. I had my 5th birthday party there,
Okay.
and I invited all sorts of
Yeah.
strangers. That's what I remember. And
Our
but
backyard was full in that movie.
yeah, and she made these like cats and everything. I mean, she put this. She made her boiled icing. I mean, she really put her heart and soul into that. And I feel ashamed that I did not appreciate it to the level of which she, put the effort in. Like I think, when you're 5, you don't really have like best friends and stuff like that, so yeah, I do not remember anything about going to church. My first memory of church is Fort Chipewyan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now here's a question for you, Sylvia. Was it in Fort Chip where you got that big wooden dollhouse?
Fort Chip.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was what was. I think that the same Christmas Dad made that. Like Dad made that.
Yes.
He also made a doll bed for Valerie.
Oh.
And that's in some movies. And I have that dollhouse in my attic.
I'm glad.
Yeah, it's a little dilapidated. And I don't have granddaughters or anything to appreciate it. And when Angie was little, it was still in Canada. I don't know. I can't remember when it came here. At some point it got boxed up and sent to California. But yeah,
Oh, good for you. I'm glad that you have that.
yeah, yeah. That was really sweet. And I remember Mom always saying, "I like that." Dad to the chimney. He put like
Soot.
set in the holes, to indicate it. Yeah. Yeah, I need a granddaughter, but I don't think there's too much.
We
Not
could
gonna
loan
happen.
you one.
Oh yeah, I know. Do you want me to box up the uh, uh,
Could share it.
the dollhouse? Yeah. Anyway, that was really
Oh,
yeah, yeah. I don't. I mean, if you'd asked me about did we go to church in Hinton or Edmonton, like I remember I'm talking about stuff in Banff, but of course I wasn't aware in Banff. And
yeah.
I don't remember anything about Hinton or Edmonton.
Yeah.
I
Well,
I remember skating. And the other thing in Edmonton, I remember learning how to skate
Oh,
using a
yeah.
chair. That was
yeah,
Yeah.
that was a lot of fun.
And I
I,
don't know why. Go ahead, Carl.
I was going to change the subject a little bit, so you go ahead.
I was
Go
just gonna
ahead.
say I don't know why I would remember staying at the McDonald Hotel. Would
I
that be?
did.
Why would we have stayed there?
We stayed at Hotel McDonald, coming and going from Chip on
Oh,
our trip by train to Ontario.
oh, okay.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
the trip probably took over half a week because you'd get the plane to Fort McMurray and you arrive Fort McMurray in the morning and the connecting flight to Edmonton didn't leave until late afternoon the following day.
Okay.
And then you'd um, get to Edmonton from there, and who knows, um, maybe a day or more until the next Canadian going east came through town, and we all hopped on that. And Dad gave us an amazing legacy in those trips.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So the Via Rail, like if you're going from Vancouver to Toronto, it doesn't go through Edmonton, does it? It goes through Calgary. Am I mistaken?
Uh,
There's lines that go through both,
Oh,
yeah.
but I've um, it seems to me that we did a lot of driving between Edmonton and Calgary. And I remember being absolutely stumped as to why they would build two highways side by side.
Okay.
So I'm looking at a map and it goes, it says Via Rail Canada. It goes through Edmonton. I don't know
Yeah,
why. I think
Yeah.
when that Linda and I are going to go from Vancouver to
Damn.
Banff and
yeah,
Jasper. But we flying back of Calgary, that's why I'm confused. So there must be some train route that goes through
yeah,
Calgary.
yeah.
Yeah.
That both routes uh, are there, and I think they had a real challenge trying to figure out how they were going to get through the Rockies.
Hmm.
And I think they ended up, when they were building their way through Banff, uh, some men on their day off on the weekend went for a hike and found the hot springs
Okay,
that became the Banff Springs Hotel.
cool, or
Ah.
hot.
Yeah.
I,
Then Jasper may have been, maybe CN's line or something like that. And I do remember going to see, mom and dad getting us out of bed sometime after midnight, taking us to the train station because the Queen,
oh,
our newly crowned Queen Elizabeth, was making her first journey as monarch
ooh,
across Canada by train.
okay.
And so that's where the steam locomotives, the Royal Hudsons, came from. They were named Royal because they had pulled the train that Queen Elizabeth had taken across Canada and back.
Oh, okay.